Good morning. It's been months since January of this year that I have played my Patriot football career. I'm in my 27th season of the Patriot Football League. 6 teams, down to 6 teams. We still have two friends that own teams in the league. Dale Branham still owns the Columbia Coolers. John Turnbull still credited with ownership of the Dayton Triangles. However, it's a passive league. They're not actively involved, but I continue to leave them as owners. But again, I have played officially now. The Patriot Football League is the single longest career game I've had in any media. So I think I had about a 21 season career in front page sports football on the old PC back in 91, 92. I had a Madden career in an old console game, go about 24 years. I think I got to the last season. It only goes 25 and cuts off. It's done. But I think I got to 23 or 24 in an old Madden game on the PlayStation 4 or 3 or something. And then I have had a pen and paper league go 20 years. When I first got pen and paper football, I played a whole ton of its fast play game in 2017 through 2020 or something, or 2020, 2019. I played, I think 20 years, 2019, 20 years. This now is officially the longest career I've had in any media, 27 seasons. And it's been going since, I think, COVID. I think we started this maybe a little before COVID or after COVID. We may have started this. I can't even remember the date in which we launched this, but it was a long time ago, and it's lasted for years as I pace myself. It is a career that I will never put away. I start lots of football careers in games, and some of them are going strong. Some of them die. But part of that is because once you develop such history, rich history, 27 campaigns, there is no way you're going to walk away from this history of champions and league leaders. And anyway, long story short, my definitive edition book has still not arrived yet in the mail, so I'm having to use the book on my computer to catch up statistics. So because I've been so busy and doing so much other stuff, I haven't played a game of the Patriot Football League since January 16th. Well, I lie. Just the other day, I caught up to week 3. So I did the other day play 6 games. I just haven't had a chance to go back and do the box score. So I thought I'm going to be playing next up. I'm going to be playing the 1-2 Columbia Coolers at the 2-1 Dayton Triangles midway through the 27th season, and I thought I would at least catch up both these teams' leaders. So we're going to do that right now, and this will be kind of a tutorial on how I do that. So let's go all the way back to week 2. Columbia lost to the Plattsburgh Platypus by 1 point, so I won't make any adjustments to the die roll. It's an even Steven deal, but I do need to know what their game grade was in that week 2 game. In Columbia, in that week 2 game that they lost by 1 point, they were at home. Their game grade in that was a C. So we're going to be using C to roll up their stats. So first, looking at their top running back. Their top running back stat production will start with C. Right? So here he goes. This, by the way, is Newman, is their top runner. 13. He won't get any bonuses. The game was close, so I'm not going to give him any bonuses. 15. He had 15 carries for 63 yards. His first game, 12 carries for 59, so he's kind of getting his average, right? The backup backs now use F for any column. So our backup back of Norton will use F, 1d6, 5. Hey, he had a good day, 7 for 18. He had 7 for 21 in his first game. And our quarterback, Kingfisher, receives the same, 1d6. Ooh, not good. He had 3 carries for nothing. So Kingfisher, by the way, for those who are curious, who's Kingfisher? Kingfisher won the championship for Columbia a couple of years ago, but he's the cover of the Football Time Complete Edition Blue Book, the football player in the blue uniform. That is Kingfisher, and that particular version of Football Time Complete Book, which is no longer for sale, that particular book featured Kingfisher as the cover, and it featured the Patriot Football's 2045 League in the back of the book with the Columbia Coolers championship roster as a sample team. That book is still for sale, but that particular book with that league and that cover is no longer for sale. Football Time Complete is still for sale. But now, with my black and white classic cover, and the sample league in that book is, I can't remember what the sample league is in that, but it's no longer the Patriot Football League, I don't think. All right, so we have all of our backs for that game. So 15 for 63 for Newman, 7 of 18 Norton running the ball, and Kingfisher scrambled 3 times for nothing. That totals 25 carries for 81 yards. So not a great running game for them, and they lost that game 24-23. All right, let's get our receivers. Swanson is his top guy. So again, we come down here, it says, for wide receiver 1, use 3-6 because they are going to be guaranteed being the top guy. They're going to get a minimum of something. Not a great day, though, 7 and 8. He's going to catch 5 for 64. 5 for 64. Better than his last game. He was 4 of 58 in his first game. All right, and now we're going to be looking at the next guy, right? So then we use for receiver 2, we use a 1D20. This is going to be our Z receiver. This would be our flanker, or if you're running a run and shoot, it's whoever you want these guys to be. But that's why it says receiver, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here we go. Kingman, 4. He's going to catch only 3 for 36. So you can see their passing game wasn't great either. Walton is going to use, this is wide receiver 3, this is the tight end. Walton, the tight end, is going to be using 2D6. 7, nice. So Walton, 4 for 41, not too bad. And Newman, out of the backfield, our backs receive receiver 4. We don't have a receiver 4, which would use, this is my running back, sorry. My top running back uses 1D20. Ooh, wow, 16. He's going to get 5 for 40 out of the backfield. So Newman had a great day. 5 for 40. So he had 103 yards total from scrimmage. Not a bad day for the halfback. And the second back gets 1D6, as we can see here on the chart. He's going to have 2. He's not going to catch anything, right? Now we know how many receptions we have. 9. 10, 11, 12. So let's see, we got 10, 14, 17 receptions. So we know Kingfisher completed 17, but we don't know yet on his chart what his completion percentage was. So we're going to make the roll. 8, he completed only 52% of his passes. So we reverse engineer 17 times 52%. He had, 17 divided by 52%. He had 33 pass attempts and completed 17. And now we tally that yardage to see what kind of day he had in a loss, Kingfisher in a loss. So let's see here, 59, he had 64, 36, 41, 40. He had 181 yards passing, way off his first game. So the first game of the season, he threw 46 passes, completed 22 for 267, a touchdown and interception. This second game, 17 of 33 for 181. Let's go ahead and look back and see his touchdowns. Newman had a fumble. That's not good. Newman had a touchdown run, so Newman racked up a TD. So Newman did get a touchdown that I can see here. He also had a fumble. Kingfisher had a touchdown, and that's it. So Kingfisher had 1 touchdown, no turnovers. Kingfisher did not throw an interception, so he did have a TD in that game. So he's got, on the season, he's got close to 400 yards, 2 TDs and an interception in just the first 2 games. Newman is averaging 61 yards a game in rushing. He does have a touchdown. Who caught Kingfisher's touchdown? Let's take a look back on that. Kingfisher's touchdown was caught by Newman. So Newman had 5 catches for 40 and a touchdown. That's beautiful. Okay, we got another game to do for them to get them caught up on the season before they play Dayton. And then we'll go do Dayton real quick. So yes, this is a tutorial on how we simulate statistics. So let's go to week 3. And this was this was a win, close win. They won 26-23 over 0-3 San Francisco. Columbia is now 1-2. Columbia not looking quite like the team. They were 0-2 coming into this game. They had a game grade of B, so they're going to be rolling a better charts for this. All right, so Newman in this game, wow, 17 on B. He's going to rack up 17 carries for us. So he had his best day, 17 for 88 rushing. So Newman showed up, baby, and he produced a little something for him. Norton gets to roll 1d6 on B. Oh, 5 for 10. So Norton didn't get as many carries. Makes sense when you got your top back getting the load done. And wait a second, wrong guy. Excuse me. Norton had 3 for nothing. I looked at the wrong chart. And Kingfisher had 4 for 12. So he scrambled 4 for 12. So 24 carries in that game for 100 yards. 24 carries for 100 yards only for this game. So not great. Their running game is, it's okay. But they're not quite averaging 100 yards a game rushing. So it's killing them. All right, Swanson. How well does he do? He gets 3 dice 6. Swanson is their top receiver. 15. He's going to have a really good day in this victory. 8 for 84, Swanson. He has 1 TD on the year. And we're going to roll 1 for 20 for our flanker. 5. He's going to catch 4 for 45. Walton, our tight end, is going to roll 2d6 for his stat production. And again, these receiver numbers could be anybody on your team. So R1 doesn't have to be your split end. It can be your, tight end if it happens to be. Let's say it's a team. If you were doing a replay and it's Travis Kelce, he might be your R1, right? Anyway, 11. Great day for the tight end. 5 for 59. Okay, Newman out of the backfield had a great day last week. Nope, this week it's all running. 1 for 12. So Newman catches just 1 pass for 12 after a 5 for 40 and a TD last week. And their last back, their fullback, who did not run well at all today, did have 2 catches for 10 yards. So Kingfisher had 12, 17, 18, 19, 20. So Kingfisher had 20 receptions today. And let's find out in a win on the B chart, what was his completion percentage? We'll reverse engineer his entire stat line. 15. 15 is 60, baby. Nice. And remember, my league rates are based on NFL averages in history. It's not going to look so much like modern NFL where they're completing 69, 70% of their passes. This could simulate just about any version of football, right? Except the most recent dink and dunk bubble screen offenses that we're seeing unbelievably seeing too much of. 20 divided by 60% is going to be 33 passes. So he's thrown 33 for 17 last week, 33 for 20 this week. Let's add up his totals. 84, 45, 59. So people who don't necessarily see my games as having any kind of replay, they're not replay games. However, there is no reason you can't play my quick possession-based games and not only rate the teams, name the players, but compile statistics and how you place those players in the statistical formulas. You could play, you can break out that book by Rodney and go back in history and replay the 1981 Bengals if you want to, and, compile stats. And faster than playing one single game of Stratomatic. You could play the whole game, simulate both teams' statistics, play another game. You could do 3 games simulating their stats in the time it would take you to play. Probably maybe one half, or maybe one half of a total Outball game, or maybe one half of a Stratomatic game. So you get the joy of, and again, for careers, fictional careers, it's really fun because you don't have any expectations of who's going to be the greatest, who's going to be the league leaders. So now, going into this game against Dayton, I'm going to have some information here. And I could do sacks. There is a basic number for taking sacks off, but I'm not going to try to manage that right now. So Kingfisher is going to go into this game with 658 yards passing on the season. He scored, did he throw a touchdown? He threw a sideline touchdown to Swanson, so he had a TD. Swanson got his second TD of the year. And Kingfisher threw a swing pass to Newman. So Newman only had 1 catch, but he got a touchdown. And if there was another one here that said Kingfisher threw a touchdown, then I would go ahead and add a second reception, but I wouldn't change his yardage. Right, so it turns out Newman has caught a touchdown the last 2 weeks out of the backfield. So Newman is turning into Kingfisher's chief threat. That's pretty sweet. So Kingfisher threw 2 touchdowns today, but he did throw 1 interception. Newman also ran, so we got to get a touchdown here. He also threw an INT. Newman, rushing, had a touchdown week, 1. He had a touchdown week, so he ran twice. They ran weak, and he scored. So they set him up with his strong side right and did a little counter action to the weak side, and Newman skipped into the end zone twice. So Newman with 2 touchdowns, no fumbles this week. So 2 TDs. So Newman is looking good. He's got total on the year 3 touchdowns. Newman comes into this game averaging 210. So he has 210 yards rushing on the season, does Newman, and 3 touchdowns, not counting his 2 touchdowns receiving. He's already got 5 TDs out total on the season. 600 again, and Kingfisher's thrown for 600 plus yards. He's thrown for 4 TDs, 2 interceptions, and looking pretty strong for a team that is 1-2, right? So we have done Columbia. They're caught up in all 3 weeks. So let's go to Dayton, who is 2-1. Dayton was looking at a 3-0 start, but last week they ran into the vaunted Northborough Tigers and they lost. Northborough is 3-1, or 3-0. Northborough is the only undefeated team, I believe. No, and Plattsburgh. Plattsburgh and Northborough are undefeated in the league. So we've got they're on a collision course, I think, this week to play each other, or next week. Yeah, they might both be undefeated next week. So this was game 3. This was week 3, game 2. So we want to put that back in the slot. So let's take a look at what Dayton's been doing. So I already got their first week done. That was in January, and then I have not been back to play this amazing career until recently. I played, like I said, 4 or 5 games the other day, but I didn't do box scores because I haven't received my book. When this book comes in the mail, this will be the only book I use on the table for all my football time, because it's got everything I want in it. It is, again, it's called the Definitive Edition. It is literally every version of how I would want to play and simulate my leagues using the Football Time engine in every way, and including, finally, all of my updated stat formulas or stat charts to record statistics for my fictional high school, college, fictional, whatever, replays. All right, so London. Dayton was 1-0. They defeated London 30-17. They had a B grade for this game, so we're going to be ruling the B charts for them. In London, Dayton with Wallace had his first game of the year, 23 of 40, 264 yards and a touchdown. This second game, let's find out what he does. Now let's go up here and get his running back first. His running back had 20 carries for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. Week 1. All right, we're already in week 4, so let me go ahead and catch these up. So Robinson, I rolled a 20, baby, on B. He's going to have 19 carries, so he's got to be leading the league in rushing. 19 carries for 104 yards. 19 for 104 for Robinson. So Robinson now is averaging 20 carries a game for 100 yards a game. So he's got 200 in the first 2 weeks. That is sweet. You can just tell how much I love this shit. And everybody else is an F with a D6, right? So 5 is 7 for 18 for his fullback. That's sweet, 7 for 18. And his quarterback, Wallace, runs for, holy cow, has a good day, 8 for 22. So right now they had 146 yards rushing. Yeah, let's see, 146 yards rushing did Dayton in week 2. So they really got the job done. Let's go and look at the receivers. So Dayton's top receiver, this is the X receiver. This is Davis. Oh, wait, 3 dice 6, excuse me. See, I'm forgetting my own rules here. 9. So Davis is going to catch 6 for 68. Last week he was 6 for 72 and a touchdown. He may have caught a touchdown, but I haven't looked at it yet. The second receiver gets the roll. This is the Z receiver, gets to roll the D20. 13 is going to be 6 for 72. Ponder, the tight end, rolls 2D. Ponder, 12 is going to get 5 for 61. My God, Dayton lit it up in this game. and their running back out of the backfield gets to roll the D20. This is the best. Oh my God, a 19, 6 for 67. So right now, the most prolific back in the game running the ball looks like Robinson. And again, I haven't done every back in the league. I'm not caught up. But Robinson's also had now 10 catches on the season for 90 yards. That is pretty sweet. So very nice. And then we're going to be looking at the D6 for my fullback. And the fullback's going to catch 3 for 13. Are you kidding me? So Dayton lit it up this week. They won 30-17. Normally, when I see a score like that, I would give a bonus to Dayton, like a +1 bonus to all their stat rolls, but I didn't do it, and it turns out they're going to get the numbers they should anyway. Holy cow, Dayton clobbered them here. 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, let me see here, let's do this right. 18, try not to do it in my head when I have a calculator in front of me. 26 passes completed. And again, we got to roll. He's B. Let's find out how well he completed passes. A 1! My God, I rolled 19s and a 20 and a 19, and now I rolled a 1. He only completed 52. Wallace, sloppy, 52%. So 26 divided by 52%. That is sad. 50 pass attempts. Lordy. 68. They dominated the time of possession. 72, 61, 67, and 13 for 281 yards. So he was 26 of 50, 281. Let's go back to the box score and see if he scored. A touchdown to Davis, that's 1. Robinson with a touchdown. Robinson with a touchdown. Wow, so Wallace with a touchdown pass. Okay, where am I at here? Wallace with a TD to Davis. Let me mark Davis, touchdown. All right, Robinson with a touchdown run. Robinson with a touchdown run. So 2 TDs after on a 104-yard day for Robinson. He also caught 6 for 67. Did not catch a touchdown pass. So they dominated plays. They had 70. Looks like they had 74 plays from scrimmage. Scored only 3 touchdowns. Who was the third? Oh yeah, 3 touchdowns. And then kicked 3 field goals. And let's see here. Nutter, I don't see any fumbles. Dunning with a fumble. Nope. So no turnovers. Well, that'll help. You're going to win 30-17 when you control the ball. 74 plays, and you don't turn the ball over. That is brilliant. So Wallace on the season at 2 games. You got 1 more game to do for Dayton to catch him up. So let's go do it. So Dayton was 2-0, and they clearly looks like have the best offense in football. But then the next week, they run into the league's #1 defense, and that is the Northborough Tigers. Undefeated Northborough at 2-0, came into Dayton 2-0, and beat them 20-7, holding Dayton down. With a number like that, they only scored 7. So Dayton, looking at their yardage, if I had had all the yardage collected, they would have literally been rolling into the NBT, probably with the league's top offense. And they ran smack dab into the league's #1 rated defense, and they were held to 7 points. I'm probably going to give Dayton a negative modifier on these rolls. However, they were looking at a D. So remember, it's kind of accounted for already by the fact that A offense of NBT reduced Dayton to a D. So that kind of affects yardage anyway. So when I roll, but I could, it wasn't quite a blowout. I mean, they beat them, they held them to 7 points, so I probably would minus this to be more accurate. So I'm gonna do a negative to every roll, a -1 to every roll for Dayton to keep these stats in jive with that score, right? So there's another option. So first of all, let's see. The great Robinson comes in, leading the league in rushing, averaging 102 yards a game. And has caught 10 balls in 2 games. Let's find out what Robinson does. I'm going to subtract 1 from this 20. 16. He's still on a D chart. Gets 56 yards. So 15 for 56. The only touchdown by these guys was, Wallace was picked off twice. Fade pass. Wallace will throw a touchdown to Davis. So no score for Robinson. All right, we look at F for the other backs, and we subtract 1 from these. Their fullback gets 4 carries for 12 yards. And the quarterback, Wallace, scrambles for 12 yards. Four carries for 12 yards. That, folks, is 23 carries on the game for a total of 70 some odd yards rushing. So the Northborough Tigers 34 defense flat shut down Dayton, held them to 7 points, and held the running game under 80. Robinson alone was averaging 102 points a game. So it's jiving like sweet toots. Let's come down here and roll some receivers. So we're looking, again, this does not have the A, B, C, D, D charts because the receivers are ultimately, I'm not going to modify receivers. We have to have the right number of receptions to get the right number of attempts to make quarterback stat lines reasonable. But I am going to subtract 1 from all these rolls. So the first up is Davis, who did catch a touchdown. Let's see here. We got 9, 10, 11. Minus 1 is 10. He's going to catch 6 for 71, so he's pretty much on his average, and he caught a touchdown. And then we're going to do R2. Minus 1, 4. So we're looking at 4, 3 for 36. So see, we're seeing definitely a difference. Last week he was double that. Okay, our tight end rolls 2d6, minus 1. Ooh, 2 and 3 is 5, minus 1 is 4, not good. 3 for 31. Definitely half of what he did last week in that 30-17 victory. Robinson out of the backfield, minus 1, 7. 2 catches for 12. No touchdown. And last but not least, the fullback, minus 1, 3 is 1 catch, 7 yards. We can see immediately how MBT handled these guys. 12, 30, 40, 15 passes completed. We're looking at the D chart. I'm going to minus 1 from this because they only scored 7 points. Oh, 2, 45%. 15 divided by 45%. 33 pass attempts. He completed only 45%. Folks, he had 71, 36, 31, 12, and 7 for only 157 yards, almost 100 yards off his average. Jeez, Dayton comes, MBT though, they are beast. The MBT putting a whooping on Dayton, 20-7, shutting down this offense. Wallace threw a pick, and Wallace threw a TD in the fourth quarter. So 2 picks for Wallace, but he did get his touchdown. So Wallace on the season, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Their running backs averaging, Lord, let's go ahead and take a look. 98, 104, and 56. 258 yards rushing for Robinson. Turns out Newman is actually better than that. No, Newman was 210. Newman was 210. 4 touchdowns rushing for Robinson, and he has not caught a touchdown pass. Newman for Columbia has caught 2 touchdowns and has 5 rushing touchdowns. So Newman is more prolific scoring, but Robinson has got better yardage on the season. Wallace, and by the way, Kingfisher with 4 touchdowns, I think. Let's go back to Kingfisher. So we're caught up. So going into this game this morning, I will have stats in front of me to know Kingfisher on the season has got over 668 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Dayton's quarterback, Wallace, he's got about 600 and some odd yards as well, and 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So despite Dayton being 2-1, their quarterback's not been as good as Kingfisher. Kingfisher is averaging only 48% completions on the. That was game 1. So let's do this real quick. I'm curious. So 112. So 53% completion. So on the season, Kingfisher's completing just 53% of his passes. That's a trip. Wallace, on the other hand, he's got a lot of passes under his belt. 26, 23, 15, divided by... He's completing 52% of his passes. So 2 of the team's league's better quarterbacks are playing like it's, serious football, right? Again, I don't attempt to try to emulate what's happening in let's say Canadian football or college nowadays or pro football even nowadays. These are meant to emulate they're meant to emulate a reasonable construction of professional football through its history. So there it is, folks. I have done a tutorial on how you generate statistics for every key player on your starting. So again, this accounts for your quarterback, your top 3 receivers plus your 2 backs catching the ball, and your two big running backs plus your quarterbacks rushing. And then, of course, you derive from the receiving statistics. You reverse engineer to get the quarterback's attempts based on how well he completes passes in the game. And then from there, we have a stat line from the actual game itself, whether he threw touchdowns or interceptions. So coming into this game, I would argue Kingfisher is playing better than Wallace despite the pass attempts. Kingfisher's thrown less attempts, but is a little more efficient and has actually thrown 4 touchdowns and only 2 picks. Wallace has thrown 3 touchdowns. Of course, again, Columbia faced the MBT in Week 1. Columbia also lost to the league's top defense, 26-19. Dayton came in here undefeated and lost 20-7. So Columbia managed to score 12 more points than Dayton in their matchup. So looking at this, I would assume this is going to be another knockdown, drag-out game between the Columbia Coolers and the Dayton Triangles. Anyway, thank you for watching this. This has been, I'm sorry I don't have this book. If I had this book, I'd be doing this on the table and sharing how to do this. But maybe this is better because people can see what I'm looking at. But this is the definitive edition. This is the whole. This book comes 8.5 by 11, coil bound, high quality ink and paper. The paper's it's designed that this book would last thousands of games. Opening it, flipping through it. It's designed in spiral bound so you can lay it flat, so you can roll the full simulation charts with your favorite football field in front of you. And it's designed to use either you can literally call plays for teams, or you can just roll the solo automated system, or you can do what I do in 90% of my football time games. I use the original this was the original concept, the possession chart. So this book, I'm dying for it to get here, and it has not arrived. And I've been in and out of town, so I've been a little nervous about it arriving anyway, because our postman just sets it on the front stoop. Rain, sleet, snow, he just throws it on the front stoop, and it is left there. So either somebody can snatch it, or it can be destroyed due to weather. Reality is, I'm hoping this thing shows up when I'm physically here to pick it up. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.